This edition of Phillies Focus is ready to pop.
Oh boy. Is that where you want my target, Joe? You want up higher? Or?
We take you inside the mask, bringing you to a place that only catchers know. Behind the dish to see the stuff of a big leaguer, Joe Blanton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's a one-of-a-kind edition of Phillies Focus, and it starts now.
Phillies Focus, brought to you by Schuylkill Valley Sports.
For the first time since 2004, my last season in the bigs, I will be donning the catching equipment and going back behind the plate to give you a bird's-eye view of what it's like to catch a big league pitcher. We are coming to you from beautiful sunny Clearwater. And yes, my name is on one of the beaches on the ride into Clearwater, but this is no vacation for me or this Phillies bunch. The pressure is on, specifically the team's pitching staff. Halladay, Lee, and Hamels, they're the givens. But Joe Blanton, he might just be the biggest question mark on the staff.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Phillies Focus, presented to you by Schuylkill Valley Sports. I'm your Phillies pre- and post-game analyst, Ben Davis. If you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, it's because today we have a unique opportunity to go behind the mask and catch one of the Phillies' 5 starters, Joe Blanton. And you're going with me. But before we do that, let's take a look at the book on Joe.
2-1 is hit well into left. How about Blanton going deep?
In Phillies lore, Joe Blanton will always be remembered for this improbable home run in Game 4 of the 2008 World Series.
Joe the Lover.
It's not my job, but you know, I'll take it. I'll take the win any day over the home run. But the home run was definitely special.
But it's on the mound that Blanton makes his money. He features 5 different pitches: a cutter, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. But his out pitch is a 2-seam fastball that sinks.
The 2-seam fastball is held in this manner. It's intended to keep right-handed hitters from diving out over the plate and to induce a lot of ground balls. It's also very effective against left-handers to keep them from diving out over the plate. To keep them honest, we're going to start the sinker at their hip. The left-handed hitter will give up on that pitch, and next thing you know, it's sinking out over the inside part of the plate.
And on the inside corner, call strike 3.
Now we're going to talk about Joe's cutter. For this matter, we like to keep the horseshoe on the outside of your finger. Basically what it comes down to is putting a little more pressure on your middle finger for a right-hander. The more pressure you put on that middle finger, the more cut you're going to get on the baseball. Now we're going to talk about Joe's slider. The intent of a slider is to go east and west and have a slightly downward spin on it.
Breaking ball on the outside corner. Pretty pitch from Blanton.
It's held in this manner on the seam, and the big key for a slider is to keep a little bit of a gap right inside here. You don't want to choke it too much. If you choke it too much, it ends up just spinning across the plate, and hitters love to hit it. That's what we call in the business a cement mixer. And the hitters, like I said, they love to drill that one. So we only keep a little bit of gap, we'll have a little bit of tilt, and that's all she wrote. We talked about the lateral movement of a slider. Now we're going to talk about the north-south movement of a curveball. A lot of pitchers like to throw it in this fashion. They like to keep a good tight grip as opposed to the loose grip we talked about with the slider. We're going to keep a tighter grip on the curveball, and we're going to keep it with the seams. Then we're going to talk about his out curveball, okay? Maybe you have a guy 1 and 2 in the count. He's going to bury that curveball down in the dirt. Maybe get a guy to go fishing. Okay, now lastly, we're going to talk about the backdoor curveball to a left-handed hitter.
Got him.
Backdoor curveball is basically a curveball that he starts on the outside part of the plate and has it bend back over the outside corner of the plate. It's a pitch that left-handed hitters really tend to give up on, and if Joe can do that, he's going to be very effective. Joe also likes to slow things down with a changeup. Everyone knows that a located fastball is the best pitch in baseball, but the changeup is a close second.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup.
The changeup is held in this fashion. Joe throws a circle change, and the circle change is intended to have, obviously you can see a little circle there. The more you choke the baseball, the less velocity you're going to take off. You like to have an 8 to 10 mile an hour different ratio between your fastball and your changeup. So this is a very effective pitch for Joe. Hitters look at him, say here comes a fastball, it ends up being a lot slower, and that's another reason Joe gets a lot of outs with that pitch.
Good changeup.
So that's Joe's arsenal, and hopefully we'll see that out of his bullpen today.
Before we get there, here's the book on Joe Blanton. He's a career 73 and 62 pitcher, but he's 10 games over 500 in the National League. In his rookie season of 2005, he went 12-12, but still finished 6th in the American League Rookie of the Year voting. His best win total in a season is 16. He did that in 2006 with the A's. He was traded to the Phillies in July of 2008 and finished with a perfect 4-0 mark for the team.
And he hits a fly ball to deep left field. It's carrying well, and it'll go. And Ben Davis hits his first home run here in this ballpark, and that has to be a thrill for him.
Every year of my major league career was spent as a catcher, and in that time, pitchers and their coaches would constantly refer to the term late life. With Joe Blanton, that term gets used plenty.
Late life is huge, especially I'm a guy that throws all sinkers, and it's, you know, when it starts moving early, it gets kind of big, and, you know, hitters kind of pick it up a little early. You get that late life, that's what freezes hitters and gets kind of the late swings and the balls that, you know, they really hit the top of.
Of course, the big question for Blanton is his health. A year ago, Blanton pitched in a career-low 11 games. Nerve damage in his elbow ended his season as a starter in May. Blanton decided against surgery and opted for rehab. So his health remains a pivotal question in this camp.
Physically, I feel really good. I feel better than I have in years. Just from the fact this offseason, I did a lot more stretches. You know, try to get my body more limber, more flexible.
Yeah, our training staff and our strength and fitness people do a phenomenal job, and we're very lucky. We've got good people that are willing to work, and, you know, they buy into what we're trying to get done, and they get after it. So Joe's right on the right track right now.
So Joe feels good enough to be back in the Phillies rotation, but before he can throw today's bullpen, he needs to get loose. That process starts with short throws to stretch his elbow, then a more challenging long toss program than I was accustomed to during my big league days.
Is that pretty much your extensive long toss before every start, or you could not go as long? Or
It's pretty standard right there.
For Joe, this is an important bullpen. It's his final bullpen before he makes his first spring training start. Here's what he hopes to accomplish.
Basically work out of the stretch. I'll do a couple up close, really make sure I'm getting the ball. Helps me get the ball down a little bit better. Maybe get some good angle. I'll do about, you know, 5-6 of those, and then scoot back. Work fastballs on both sides. Really try to establish that. Make sure my arm's working well early, and then just kind of move from there. Sink it, cut it. Throw a couple changeups to both sides, curveballs, and in with some sliders. Just really mix them all. Try to throw on both sides of the plate.
Up next, it's showtime as we show you what it's like to catch a big leaguer. Plus, we'll bring you the tools of the trade as we go inside the Phillies clubhouse to show you the equipment that I and all big league catchers wear when catching a man throwing more than 90 miles an hour. That's when Phillies Focus, presented by Schuylkill Valley Sports, returns.